David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today I have for you a brand new pen from Montegrappa called the Elmo. What I'm going to do is go over the parts and features of the Elmo, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to Kenro Industries for providing this pen for review. The pen arrives in this standard Montegrappa box. I like the looks of their boxes with this octagonal pattern. I like that the side flips open for easy access to the box. And then they have their box. And I really like this box as well. The octagonal pattern, again, is on this box, but it's actually embossed here on all sides. And then there's a little metal nameplate on top that says Montegrappa. The box flips open, and inside we have a couple of things. We have a use and care guide. There are a couple of Montegrappa Standard International cartridges, and then we have a pen. This is the Montegrappa Elmo. Now, Montegrappa is best known for designing pens that are over the top, rather extravagant, and most of the time with price tags to match as well. But the Elmo really marks a return to their more modest roots and the vision of their original co-founder, a gentleman by the name of Heinrich Elmo Helm. Helm was the company's first technical director back in the early 1900s. His know-how and charisma really inspired the company, and they decided to name its first products after him. The Elmo pens would actually go on to be kind of a mainstay of Italian offices and schools for decades to come. Technically, this pen is known as the Elmo 01. I'm assuming that there are plans for additional Elmo pens down the line, which will have sequential numbers. I do know that Goulet Pens actually has a custom or an exclusive version of the Elmo available through their site. Unlike many of Montegrappa's offerings, the Elmo is more subdued and not very flashy. It's more of a classic or vintage look. The Elmo is round, and it's really influenced by the Bauhaus design movement. It does have a bit of resemblance to the Esterbrook Esty, but there are some significant differences between the pen. Let's start by taking a look at the cap. The cap itself the end is rounded, and the cap is seamless. Then we have the clip. It's a little on the thin side, but it is sturdy. And it's slightly bowed and has a wheel integrated into the end. I've always liked the looks of wheeled clips. This one functions well. The cap angles up, and then at the end of the cap, there is the contemporary Montegrappa logo. It is engraved and then filled with a light silver color. And I feel that this simple logo there kind of makes the pen look rather classy. It's a nice element. The transition from the cap to the barrel is even and punctuated by a silver-colored band. The barrel is straight for about an inch, and then it evenly tapers down to the end of the barrel, which is round and similar in size to that of the end of the cap. The cap twists off to reveal this broad number 6 nib. I believe Montegrappa's nibs are manufactured by Jovo. And it has the Montegrappa traditional octagonal pattern, again, on the nib. I feel it's a sharp-looking nib. And then here's a look at the plastic feed. The Elmo is available in extra fine, fine, medium, and broad. And it's also available in a rollerball and ballpoint. The broad nib on this pen is outstanding. You'll get a closer look in the writing sample, but it is very smooth and really glides effortlessly across the page. I enjoy it a great deal. The section is slightly concave. It transitions into the wide, blocky cap threads and a rather steep step up to the barrel. Even though this step up is rather steep, I don't find it to be uncomfortable, even if my grip is resting right on the transition. This is a cartridge converter pen. A converter is provided with the pen, and it will accept standard international cartridges. There are no exposed metal parts that I could see in the barrel, but there are some in the section, so eyedropping the Elmo would not be recommended. The cap does post, and it does post securely, and is light enough that I don't feel it backweights the pen or throws off the balance at all. And I do find this pen very comfortable for extended writing sessions. I do find that the end of the cap can be just a little sharp. If you have larger hands or if you grip further back on the section at the end of the cap rubs against your hand, it might be a little uncomfortable. It doesn't for me, but if you grip it slightly different or have larger hands, it might for you. The Elmo has an MSRP of $195, which means at authorized retailers, you'll typically find it for about 20% less, which brings the price down to $156, which I actually feel is a very reasonable price for what you receive with this pen. While it's a simple design, I think it looks classy, and it provides a decent value at this price point. The outstanding broad nib on this pen, it really helped sell me on this model as well. Thanks go out to Kenro Industries for providing this pen for review. I don't have a ton of really nice broad nibs, so I have a feeling that you'll be seeing a little bit more of this pen in the future, especially during some ink reviews. So now it's time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. So here we go with some size comparisons for the Montegrappa Elmo. Here it is with a TWSBI Eco, then here it is with a Lamy Vista, and here it is with a Pilot Falcon. Then in regard to some other pens, here it is with a Platinum 3776, here it is with a Pilot Vanishing Point, and then finally, here it is with a Sailor Pro Gear. So here we go with the writing sample for the Montegrappa Elmo. This is a broad steel nib. And the ink that I'm using today is Tassia. And I'm going to call it EB, or EBI. We'll go for EBI, EBI. This is what the ink looks like. I'm liking a lot of the new Tassia colors. It looks very similar to something like Noodler's Autumn and Rose, or even something like Monteverde Mercury Noir. It's a little more saturated than that. I did lay it on rather thick here. These are what the bottles look like. And like I said, there's a number of inks. I need to get around to reviewing at least one of these, but I've enjoyed all of the Tassia inks that I've tried. So in regard to the rest of the writing sample, I mentioned it during the review, but I do care for this broad nib a great deal. It's very smooth. You can get a little bit of line variation out of here, but not a ton. The ink flow is very good on this broad nib. And in regard to some reverse writing, it's not too bad. And then in regard to some fast writing, you can see here that the feed doesn't have any problems in keeping up. I really do like this broad nib. I know I keep saying that, but it's very nice, and I am enjoying it. So there you have the Montegrappa Elmo. I think this is an interesting addition to the Montegrappa line as something that is an entry level into their brand. I feel the price point is worthwhile in regard to this pen, and I'm interested. Since this is a 01, I'm interested to see what some of the other models are that they come out with in the near future, and hopefully I'll be able to show those to you as well. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.